Welcome back to the deep dive. You know how we always end up focusing on those big, life-changing major arcana cards?
Oh, yeah, the tower moments, the death card drama.
Well, today we're going deep on the minor arcana, and specifically, what those numbers, the aces, twos, all the way to tens, really mean.
Oh, interesting. I feel like those get overlooked sometimes.
Totally. But they hold so much insight into our daily lives. Think of it like we're on this spiral journey through numbers 1 to 10. Each stop, we see how that number plays out in the cups, wands, all four suits.
Love that visual, the spiral. Okay, so where do we begin?
Well, got to start with the aces, right? New beginnings, pure potential, all that jazz.
But I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
You bet. Our sources actually highlight this tricky thing about aces. Too much of a good thing.
Oh, like they can be overwhelming.
Exactly. Imagine the ace of cups. Gushing emotions, maybe a whirlwind romance.
Sounds amazing, but
But our sources say if you don't handle that intensity carefully, poof, it's gone.
makes sense. Like anything new and powerful, gotta have the right foundation.
Right, like planting a seed needs good soil, not concrete.
Perfect analogy. Okay, so aces are potent, but need what? Conscious effort?
Spot on. It's not just passively receiving the ace's energy, it's about, directing it, I guess.
Love that. Okay, so we've got this raw potential. Where do we go from there?
Onto the twos. And things get, well, a little more complicated.
Because now it's not just you, it's you and dot someone or something else, right?
Yep. Two forces coming together are classic. Two of cups, lovey-dovey, right? But our sources say even that can have downsides.
Because relationships are never easy.
True, but it's deeper than that. It's about this balance, this duality. Like when that initial harmony gets rocky, what then?
Do we compromise? Or freeze up because we're scared to rock the boat?
I'm seeing that in the Two of Swords, too, that stuck feeling. Like, even if things are BP, we cling to what's familiar.
Ugh, been there. So the twos are making us ask, is this union good for us or just comfortable?
Big question. Okay, ready to add even more to the mix? Threes. Here we come.
Three's a crowd, as they say. Things are going to get interesting.
Right. Now, it's not just two forces, it's a whole dynamic. Like, our trusty Three of Pentacles, teamwork.
But teamwork can go so wrong.
Oh, tell me about it. Sources point out clashing personalities, different goals, that all throws things off.
Like in the Three of Swords, right? Someone betrays the group, heartbreak ensues.
Yep. And even the Three of Wands, looking all optimistic towards the future.
Yeah, what's the catch?
Our sources say, got to check ourselves. Are our goals realistic? The path we're on, is it the right one?
So threes are about outcomes, but also the process, the journey to get there.
Love that. Okay, feeling grounded. Because next up are the fours, all about foundations.
So after the chaos of threes, we get some stability. That's welcome.
It is. But, like everything in tarot, there's a flip side.
Let me guess. 2 MUCH stability becomes
Stagnation. Four of Wands, we're celebrating what we built, but maybe getting a little too comfy.
complacent, yeah. And 4 of Pentacles, we're secure, but maybe clutching our resources too tight.
Exactly. Sources say fours are about appreciating what you have, but also knowing when it's time to move on.
I feel that tension constantly. Enjoying success, but scared to lose it.
So relatable. All right, brace yourself, because here come the fives.
Yeah.
And they do not mess around.
Fives, the energy feels chaotic already.
Right. Whatever stability we build in the fours, he gets tested hard.
5 of Wands, is that the one with all the fighting?
Yep. Conflict, competition, everyone trying to get their way.
Sounds stressful, but maybe there's a purpose to all that clashing.
Our sources say yes. It can be a chance to refine our approach, see things from other perspectives.
Okay, I can see that. But what about the 5 of Cups? That one just seems sad.
It is tough. Loss, disappointment, that feeling of what could have been.
Ugh, heartbreaking. But even there, gotta be some lesson, right?
That's what our sources suggest. Even when things fall apart, there's a chance to reevaluate, let go of what's no longer serving us.
Deep. So even the rough fives are pushing us towards dot growth. Transformation.
Totally. It's like the breakdown before the breakthrough. And speaking of moving forward, the sixes are here to offer some reliefs.
Thank goodness. We need a breather after all that 5 energy.
Right. Think of the Six of Swords. Leaving troubled waters behind, sailing towards calmer seas.
That sounds lovely. And what about 6 of Pentacles? That one always makes me think of sharing.
You got it. Generosity, support, recognizing we're all in this together.
So after the 5 struggles, we're reaching out, helping each other.
Exactly. But our sources also make us wonder, is that generosity truly selfless? Or are we trying to regain some control after the chaos of the fives?
Whoa, good point. It's like, are we giving from the heart or trying to fix things? Maybe both.
Right. The sixes challenge us to be honest about our motivations.
Deep stuff. Okay, ready for the next stage. What do the sevens have in store?
Time for some introspection. Sevens are all about questioning, reevaluating our path.
Sounds kind of like a midlife crisis, tarot style.
Huh, maybe a little. But it can get tricky, like the Seven of Cups, all those illusions and fantasies.
Oh, yeah, that one's notorious for daydreaming and getting lost in what ifs.
Exactly. Our sources warn us about chasing unattainable ideals, even deceiving ourselves about what we really want.
And then Seven of Swords, that one feels sneaky.
It is. Strategizing, maybe even a bit of manipulation. It asks, are we using our smarts for good or just to get ahead?
So sevens are pushing us to check our intentions, make sure we're on the right track, not just dreaming big, but dreaming ethically.
Love that. Okay, feeling accomplished. Because the eights are all about tangible results.
Ah, so we're leveling up, but does that always mean good things?
Great question. Our sources say eights DO show culmination, but the outcome depends.
Like Eight of Wands, that fast-paced energy can be progress or recklessness.
Exactly. And Eight of Pentacles, yeah, you're masterful at what you do, but maybe it's become routine, even boring.
The golden handcuffs of success. So even with eights, gotta ask, is this fulfilling me, not just my resume?
Exactly. It's about success on your terms. Okay, almost there. Nines, what you got for us?
Nines always feel like almost there, but not quite.
Yep, completion is near, but there's this anticipation, maybe a little anxiety too.
Like in the Nine of Cups, right?
Okay.
Happy, but is this really what I want, or am I settling?
Oh, that hits home.
Uh.
And Nine of Wands, all that resilience, but maybe we're pushing too hard, risking burnout.
Nines are like that last mile of a marathon. You see the finish line, but gotta pace yourself.
Perfect analogy. It's about taking stock before that final push. Which brings us to the tens, the end of the line.
Full circle moment. Everything we've worked for, here it is. But it's gotta be bittersweet, right?
Totally. Ten of Cups, all that happiness, fulfillment.
Yeah.
But sources say there's this shadow of potential loss, things falling apart.
In Ten of Wands, that feeling of being overburdened, like success came at a cost.
It's that classic tarot paradox. Joy, and sorrow, all wrapped up together.
So the tens are reminding us that endings are inevitable, but also they're just the start of something new, W.
It's that cycle of life, constantly turning. Wow, this has been quite a journey. We've just scratched the surface, but I'm already seeing the Minor Arcana in a whole new light.
Me too. And we've got more to uncover, so stay tuned as we keep diving deep into the world of Minor Arcana numbers.
Welcome back. My mind's still buzzing from all that number talk. It's like, whoa, they really are a secret code in the Minor Arcana.
Right. It makes you think, how do we actually use this in readings? Is it just memorizing what each number means?
Nah, it's way more nuanced than that. It's like recognizing patterns. Say a 5 shows up, any 5.
Oh, trouble's brewing.
Exactly. You know there's going to be conflict, disruption, but the suit tells you where. 5 of Wands, external fight, maybe with a coworker.
5 of Cups, that's more like inner turmoil, right?
Spot on. So number gives you the theme, suit gives you the flavor.
Oh, I like that. So it's layers of meaning.
Totally. And then you add the card's imagery, it gets even deeper.
Yeah.
Like 5 of Pentacles, those people struggling in the cold.
Yeah, that one always feels kind of bleak. Right. But it's not just about being poor. It can be like feeling excluded, lacking support, even spiritually.
Wow, that's heavy. Makes you think about those times you felt alone, even in a crowd.
Exactly. That's where knowing the numbers helps us go beyond the surface.
So it's not just memorizing, but feeling what those numbers mean.
Right. And that takes practice. The more you work with the Minor Arcana, you start seeing those patterns everywhere, not just in readings.
It's like the tarot's reflecting our own lives back at us.
Totally. And those cycles of growth, challenges, they all have a number to them. When you were researching, anything really stand out to you?
I was struck by how often the idea of responsibility came up, especially with the lower numbers.
Oh, like with the aces, yeah. All that potential, but you got to do something with it.
Exactly. And even the 2s, making choices in relationships, that's on us too.
It's like from the get-go, the Minor Arcana saying, hey, you're not a passive passenger, you're the driver.
I love that. It's not fate, it's choices. Speaking of which, did any of the tougher cards, like, give you pause?
You know, I kept thinking about those sevens, all that introspection, questioning. It's easy to get lost in your head.
7 of Cups, that's the big culprit, right? Fantasies, illusions, all that.
Yeah, but even the Seven of Swords, all that strategizing,
Yeah.
that made me think about when we use our intellect for good versus, being manipulative.
Ooh, that's a good one. So even the trickier cards have a lesson.
For sure. It's like they're showing us potential pitfalls so we can avoid them, or at least learn from them if we fall in.
Which, let's be real, we all do sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. But that's part of the journey, right? The Minor Arcana is not about being perfect, it's about being aware.
Aware of the cycles, the patterns, how everything's connected.
And that can be really comforting, knowing it's not all random, there's a bigger picture.
It's like looking back on your life and seeing how it all makes sense, even the rough parts.
And that can bring peace, even gratitude for the whole messy experience. Makes you wonder, if we really got the Minor Arcana, would we live differently?
Big question. But maybe, with that deeper understanding, we'd be more mindful, more compassionate.
More open to the whole AoE ride good ain't bad. Like,
Yeah.
the Minor Arcana is this roadmap helping us navigate life with, I don't know, more grace.
Beautifully put. So what's the takeaway for our listeners who are, maybe feeling overwhelmed by all these numbers?
I'd say don't get bogged down in the right answer for each card. Instead, connect with the energy of the number. What's it symbolizing for you right now?
So it's about that personal connection, that intuitive hit.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the ups and downs because they're all part of the process.
The numbers are just there to guide us along the way.
Beautifully said. So next time you're with your deck, really look at those Minor Arcana numbers. Let them speak to you.
Such a great reminder. This deep dive has been so eye-opening. I feel like I'm seeing these cards with fresh eyes.
Me too. And I hope our listeners feel the same. There's so much wisdom in these seemingly simple cards.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up, anything else standing out to you from our research? Any final thoughts?
One thing that keeps coming back to me is how interconnected it all is. The numbers build on each other, the suits weave together, the major and minor arcana, they're all part of the same tapestry.
And we're just one little thread in that grand design, right?
Yeah.
Each of us playing a part in this big story.
Exactly. And that's pretty amazing, isn't it? To be part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
It is. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, and honestly, this conversation could go on for hours.
I know. But for now, maybe it's time to just let these insights sink in. See how they resonate with you, how you can apply them to your own life.
Great advice. And to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired, grab your favorite deck, spread those cards out, and see what comes up. You might be surprised at what you discover.
And remember, it's not about being a tarot expert. It's about connecting with your intuition, getting clarity, and making choices that feel right to you.
Wise words. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the Minor Arcana numbers. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. It's a lifelong exploration, full of twists, turns, and endless possibilities.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and let the tarot guide you on your path. Until next time, happy diving.
It feels like we could talk about these Minor Arcana numbers forever.
I know, right? So much to unpack. We've talked about each number individually, but I think what's really cool is how they all fit together.
Oh, like how they build on each other?
Exactly. Each number represents a stage in a cycle. Like
Well, yeah.
the aces are that initial spark, the twos are about partnerships and duality.
Threes are expansion, fours are stability. It is like a cycle.
And it's not just a circle, it's more like a spiral staircase. We keep moving upwards, but we also revisit similar themes at each level.
Okay, I'm seeing it. So we spiral through the numbers, but how do the suits fit into this?
Well, let's take creativity as an example. We first encounter it with the Ace of Wands, right? Pure
Yeah.
inspiration. Then with the Three of Wands, we're expanding on that, taking action, making plans.
And then, bam, Five of Wands, things get messy.
Exactly. Conflict arises. Maybe we have to collaborate or compromise or even scrap the whole plan and start over.
So it's like the numbers show us the different stages of a creative process, and the suits give us context.
Totally. And that's what makes the Minor Arcana so practical. It's not just some esoteric system. It reflects real life.
It's like the numbers are giving us a roadmap, not just for creativity, but for any process, right?
Right.
Relationships, finances, personal growth.
Exactly. And knowing those stages can help us navigate challenges more effectively. Like, if you're stuck in a Five of Wands situation, understanding that conflict is a natural part of the process can be really empowering.
So instead of freaking out, we can ask ourselves, okay, what's this conflict teaching me? What needs to shift?
Right. And that's where the real magic of the Minor Arcana comes in. It's not about predicting the future. It's about understanding the underlying patterns at play so we can make more conscious choices.
So for our listeners, what's the best way to start working with these numerical cycles in their own lives?
Pay attention to the numbers that come up in your readings. But don't get too hung up on specific interpretations. Instead, try to feel the essence of each number, its energy. Like, what does a 4 feel like to you? What about an 8?
It's like going beyond the book meanings and tapping into your own intuition.
Exactly. Trust your gut. And remember, it's all about the journey, not the destination. The Minor Arcana is here to guide us, to help us make sense of the ups and downs, the twists and turns of life.
And to find meaning and growth in every experience.
Beautifully said. So next time you work with your tarot decks, spend some time with those Minor Arcana numbers. See what they have to teach you. You might be surprised at what you discover.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
My pleasure. It's always a joy to talk tarot, especially those often overlooked Minor Arcana cards.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and let the tarot be your guide. Until next time, happy diving.